Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Following up a little bit on your line of questioning, since you approached this, certainly, Dr. Jacobs, as I mentioned in my opening statement, I'm concerned about its 27% budget cuts and particularly the atmospheric, the Oceanic and Atmospheric Research Organization itself and the people. But to get this right, following on Senator Cruz's questioning, we had a less tragic event, but no less tragic event out on the Olympic Peninsula. The NOAA Weather Forecast Service said, no, you don't need a Doppler. And we're like, yes, we do, because we have a mountain range that is blocking the information. And NOAA Weather Service said, no, you don't. And we said, yes, we do. And then we had a 100-year event that killed people and did unbelievable damage. And all of a sudden, NOAA Weather Forecaster said, yep, we're going to help you. Actually, we helped get the Doppler. Now, we still have a community that we have information, but guess what? Every day we live there within threat of a tsunami, and we've built a tower, but that's it. There is no real coordination with that community. I mean, the bottom line here is we have beautiful places around the United States of America, and people want to go visit them and live there, and they do. But guess what? They are not the most resourced communities in our country. Then the question becomes, what do we do to provide the emergency response, whether it is fire or hurricane or tsunami, or tornado? What do we do? Now, you mentioned the radio, and I want to get to that communication level. But I want to start with just the basic research, because at that same event, when we got the Doppler and we got the tower, I said, so now we're done, right? And they were like, no, we're not done. I said, well, why is that? They said, Senator, because every particle in a storm is its own algorithm. And we could be computing this, and we could tell you 2 weeks in advance what the storm is likely to do if we put in the supercomputing time. So I have no idea why in heck our nation lets the European model get ahead of us. I have no idea why we do this, when all we need to do is use Senator Blackburn's supercomputing time at their national lab and put the resources behind it. So let's start with that. Should we be putting more resources into supercomputing time so we can predict storms further out?
Well, obviously, high-performance supercomputer, these physics-based algorithms need a lot of it. And one of the priorities of mine is advancing numerical weather prediction. But the reason why one of the reasons why the American model was lagging the European model was not just lack of compute, but the code wasn't architected to run on certain computers.
We're going to let somebody else. I'm not letting somebody else outcode us. Okay, trust me. Coming from Seattle, I'm not letting. This is all doable. It's about whether we have the resources and the investment. And I'm saying let's make the investment.
I agree.
And you agree is what I'm trying to get at. You agree. Let's put the investment into this.
High-performance computing, cloud-based high-performance computing is critically important. Another thing I'd like to point out is once we transition that code to architectures that even industry could run, now we have private industry investing and developing the same code.
Okay, I'm all for that, but I want you to maintain your role. And I think that the difference here is, and we do that. Believe it or not, the University of Washington has probably helped this community plan for an eventual tsunami more than anybody has, because they've outlined. So it comes to the second point, which I just want to drill down on, because we're having this problem now with not having these forecasters. The fire situation I mentioned, we woke up one day and looked, the meteorologist from NOAA said, oh, I'm over in Seattle, and this is here's a totally different picture. Central Washington, because they didn't have a meteorologist in that region on the ground, predicted something else and sent people out. And they died. And because the fire was too volatile given the high winds. So we've been a big believer in having that local meteorologist and having that coordination when you know what the local weather event is going to be. So you're not suggesting that we can do all of this some sort regionally or through the private sector?
No.
Okay, I want to clarify this, because this is what is going on now when we shortchange resources. And I don't want for fire season to be shortchanging resources. These events come up in very dramatic form and can happen, and we need the accuracy. And the last thing is, I want to see, I hope, given all of my experiences, and we also, you know, we've had a lot of natural disasters in the state of Washington. We had the Oso mudslide, which was also killed 40 people. A lot less planning to do there, but weather event information could have probably put data out to the community. But the point is, somewhere we all collectively have to come to a conclusion about what we are going to do when we have massive populations in communities, that you actually have to have an implementation plan. So whose responsibility is that implementation plan? And so we see it all the time, because the gap, NOAA says, okay, well, I'm going to give you the information, and then it's a rural community and they don't have the plan. So as I said, University of Washington is filling that gap. So what can we do now that we've had 27 extreme events this year? What can we do to help communities get better plans?
Well, going back to your Weather Service question, if confirmed, I will ensure that staffing the Weather Service office is its top priority. It's really important for the people to be there, because they have relationships with the people in the local community. They're a trusted source. I didn't mean to imply that this was going to be regionalized or anything. As I mentioned,
well, some people have suggested that the private sector, you could just do it in one location, and I'm just trying to get to this point that this regional data and integration with the emergency responders is critical.
Oh, consolidating the data, not consolidating the people.
Okay,
I would love for the people to be more embedded in the community.
Thank you. Thank you for that answer. Could you just tell me about stock assessment in salmon and pack surf and your commitment to that?
Stock assessment's obviously a huge priority of mine. If confirmed, I will do everything I can to get them back on track. I realize that it's a sensitive issue, because without the quotas set properly from the stock assessment data, the fishermen can't fish. It's a very important priority.
And pack surf?
Yes. Pacific salmon, obviously critical to the culture, the economy, has my support. You know, if confirmed, I would welcome the opportunity to advocate for this.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.